Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has a working title. That is the headline on today's NBA Heroes.
Yes, Stephen, this one is coming in from Heroic Hollywood, and as you did say, it's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has officially got a working title now, Stephen. The working title is Steamboat. I'll get this out right away. It's Steamboat, which has a very interesting origins indeed. It says that this may be inspired or be a nod to the Asian American wrestler Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. First and foremost, what a name that is. I don't know how Ricky or Steamboat even remotely ties in with the dragon, but what do you make of this first and foremost? The actual name Steamboat as a working title. I know it's all gibberish usually. I think Rust City was Ghostbusters, Blue Harvest.
It was Return of the Jedi, yeah.
But the reasons behind it, Stephen, as well, is to stop intruders. Interlopers coming onto the set.
It's the worst kept secret ever, John.
I
liked the actual title Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Why it's getting a working title is supposed to be, it's a shroud of secrecy, but it certainly isn't.
And then you're putting it out there.
We're talking about it, and lots of other people are talking about it.
We stay in Glasgow, Stephen.
Yeah, the origins of it is a strange one as well, John. Steamboats, obviously, in this country is a different meaning altogether. It's something that a lot of people do on Saturdays and Sunday nights. When they're steamboats, it means they're drunk. But certainly the person that's come up with this, I think, was drunk as well, because that's a terrible working title. I just hope that it doesn't stick for too long, because it will certainly put a lot of people off the film.
No. I hope this isn't official in any way. I think it's probably
Marvel Steamboat, and that doesn't have a nice ring to it.
I think it's just to it's to confuse locals essentially, so they don't flock to the set and disturb the crew. I don't think that's going to work, Stephen, because as you did allude to, we know about it, and we stay in Glasgow, which is about 7,000 miles away from LA. Where the majority of this movie is apparently being filmed, incidentally, which is very interesting, because it's not a setting which I would perhaps associate with this type of story. I would have thought this story would have had origins in perhaps Japan or something like that, or China, or somewhere in the Far East. I don't know much about the character. I don't actually know his origins. I'm coming across as very ignorant, but I'd thought it would have had its roots in the Far East. We set up this character because it is a new character. I feel like we have to perhaps establish the origins of the character first and foremost, and to do that you'd be best showing this discontent he has with his father. I think his father runs the Ten Rings, this notorious, I think this is what the backstory is, I'm not entirely sure, but they have notorious means, they go about doing some bad things. He eventually becomes disillusioned with it, and then he goes off to join the Avengers and go over to America. And it's like a man out of time in the States. So
Fu Manchu, I think it was his father, wasn't it? It could be, John, that maybe Ellie is doubling up for Far East City. I don't know, or perhaps we could begin down the route of having some Oliver Queen flashbacks. I hope they don't do that. Being stuck on an island with a wig. But I think, John, it's a common thing they do. All joking aside, they do this with a lot of big productions where they have to put it under a different name. Certainly, they're talking about the locals here. The locals are going to have internet as well. They're going to be reading things from HeroicHollywood.com.
Depends where they go in LA.
It does depend, John. Obviously, the cast as well. There's a few noticeable, obviously, cast members in this film as well. So it's going to be very hard to keep it under wraps. But I'm sure they'll do it. But that's the reason they do these things, because obviously they don't want to draw too much attention to crowds and stuff like that, because it does hold up production. So I can understand why it's getting done.
Yes, Stephen, as an aside to this as well, there's a very interesting topic. An article came out about this movie, and it states that it is reportedly casting, or they are reportedly casting, an array of different villains for this movie, which is intriguing, because as I did say, it is, I think, going to be a semi-origin story, although I do notice that a lot of these big studios, and certainly the comic book stories, they seem to forgo the original or the traditional origin story. They do a sped up version. We've seen it with Wonder Woman. We kind of have seen it with Aquaman, but not really, because we'd already established him. But we got that first shot of him and Nicole Kidman, obviously his mother getting whisked away. And then I think we've had similar things as well, where it's sped up. Spider-Man was a classic one, they totally forgo Therefore, I just didn't bother with an origin story period. I don't even know if I'm using Fago correctly there.
We know the reasons for that, John.
Yeah, because they had to get him right into the action because they had a limited amount of movies to use him.
But in the space of
we've seen it so many
10
times.
years, we've had 2 already, cinematically. So
yeah, but I think that they have to do an origin story of some sort here. So maybe we'll get multiple villains at the beginning, the early part of his time in the movie. Then it will be another group of villains being established. I don't know much about the character, I can't even lie, but they say that the villains which they are looking at are, and I quote, Tiger Claw, Razor Fist, Ghostmaker and Moving Shadow. Now, crap names aside, Stephen, Moving Shadow looks very, very cool. He looks like a melee wielding sort of a kung fu chap. He looks pretty neat, and I think that's tying in with the Shang-Chi character. He is in a similar vein to Clint Barton and Natasha Romanoff. They are very much human characters. They're not like these superheroes with cosmic abilities. They're just humans, and they're very gifted in a specific way of combat or whatnot. Ghostmaker looks very interesting as well. He looks like a sort of an army guy meets the Teenage Mutant Ninja.
I was going to say it looks like
Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Razor Fist, again, he looks like a double sword wielding chap. And finally, Tiger Claw, he looks like a sort of a Grand Master figure. So they're all firmly fitting in with this character and where I'd expect it to be. Perhaps, as I did allude to, we do start off with his father, Fung-Chi, I think.
Fu Manchu,
Fu Manchu, sorry. And then obviously he'll pop into some of these, or bump into some of these villains, and then perhaps the other couple will be in the present day, but he has to deal with them. I expect this movie to be smaller in scale. I don't expect it to be a big bombastic movie with grand ramifications for the whole MCU.
I think it's going to be that sort of level of, heroic characters. You're right. I think when this was announced as part of Phase 4, that was the take I got. I'm like you, John. I don't have much information or knowledge on the character other than what was presented, at the announcement, and that was what I took from it. I took this is going to be a Far East version of what we've already had. Throw in the martial arts as well, and it's another story that that they can add to this universe. It's another style of fighting as well that we're going to see, and obviously culture as well is just as important, which we're going to see another part of society, and that's part of the world being embedded into this MCU.
Yeah, Steve, no, it's great. We've seen it with Black Panther. It was a zeitgeist movie for the African American communities and just black communities all over the world. Gave them a great chance to feel represented, and it was a very good movie with a great cast. Michael B. Jordan, Chadwick Boseman, Lupita Nyong'o, Danny Guerrera. It was just a magnificent cast, and it was a great opportunity to utilise really talented people, and it'll be the same here. I think it's Simu Liu's playing obviously Shang-Chi. By all accounts, I think he's from Canada. He seems like a very charismatic guy. He's coming on board. He's fitting in right away. You've seen him on the stage in Hall H Comic Con. He looked like he fitted perfectly, seamlessly, if you like, right in. Last thing I would say, I just can't wait to see this 10 Rings organisation. They showed you a great little sequence of them popping up in an array of different MCU movies over the years. MCU movies, I should say. Yeah. In the likes of Iron Man, I think it was 2, and there was a few others. So they've been in the shadows, and they are this sort of a mysterious terrorist organisation who are operating. Obviously, Iron Man 3, they must have been in that. The Mandarin has some part to play in this movie. He leads the 10 Rings, so it was a fake Mandarin in that, obviously. That's what they're saying now after the backlash. So it'll be great to see more about this organisation, how this ties in with Shang-Chi, and how they're going to seamlessly fit this guy into the greater MCU. I can't wait to see it. I really can't. Fault it, John. Yes, Steve, but we'll move on that note, I believe, to the very next topic. I can't get it loaded up, so I may need you to bail me out. It's all about Mark Ruffalo's Hulk and how one intrepid viewer from Reddit, or Herdit as we like to call it, spotted a lovely little Easter egg, Stephen, which hints that even though Edward Norton is long gone, he's not forgotten. What do you make of this? I think it's nice, John. I think it's like you said, it's an Easter egg. It's something I didn't know. I've seen Ragnarok maybe about 3-4 times, and it's something that I didn't pick up on. Someone certainly has picked up on it. It's obviously a scar, I think, on his left side of his upper chest, which obviously resulted in injuries from the Incredible Hulk
when what was that? The
Abomination.
Yeah, obviously attacked Incredible Hulk for in that climatic battle. Tim Roth obviously played that character. So yeah, it's nice. It kind of cements the sort of feelings towards the two versions of the same character, Ruffalo's and obviously the original as well. And I think it was something that I never really noticed before. I always thought, John, certainly when we went to see Endgame, I made a comment to you saying it was nice to see that they kept the 2012 version of the Hulk, intact for those flashback scenes in Endgame. Mm-hmm. When I looked at, the character through the ages, cinematically through the ages, in fact, he didn't change that much until probably he was the... what was that called? The Professor Hulk, or what it was called?
Smart Hulk. Yeah.
The Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
So that was probably as different as you could get him from obviously the 2007's version. I think as well that it's nice as well that they had that in there as well, because it seems to be the black sheep, unfortunately, of the MCU.
Yeah, which
just
is a shame.
because of the circumstances involving Edward Norton, but. We talked about it the other week there when we were talking about Edward Norton having some fond memories, John. It's still one of my favourite films from the MCU. I know that obviously it's not a popular opinion, but I thought the film itself was great.
Yeah.
And you can take it away from the MCU and it's still a good film, but it still fits in there because of obviously the closing scenes with Tony Stark appearing at the very end as well. And obviously the character, I can't remember his name.
Thunderbolt.
The general, I can't remember his name.
I think that was it, Stephen. I think
General Ross, is it?
Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, I think him being obviously utilised in other films as well cements that version of the character as well. Because as I said, I enjoyed the 2007 Incredible Hulk. I thought it was certainly better than 2003's. What was his name? Eric Bana's. It was just a good film. I thought Edward Norton was great in it, but Mark Ruffalo, to be fair to him as well, he's played a good Banner as well, and it was just nice to see that. But as I said, it was something that I never really noticed before. But it's nice to see that Waititi, I think it was.
He was a director.
He was a director.
Ragnarok,
so having those little Easter eggs in there, it's just a nice touch.
Stephen, I always get the sense from Ragnarok that Waititi was a big fan of the Hulk character. I don't know if that's true. Obviously, it was primarily focused on Thor and his escapades with obviously Loki and what was her name? Hela? Kate Blanchett character. I think that was her name, the long lost sister. Yeah. She was a wonderful antagonist, incidentally. One of my favourites in the MCU. Not just as what she was getting up to and her strength, but visually. Very, very cool looking character. The fact that she could crush Mjolnir that way, very, very cool indeed. But I just get the sense that the way he utilised Hulk in his full brutish form, there was very little. In fact, there was none of Banner in that, I don't think. I get the sense
it was at the end, when they were trying to get, obviously they were escaping, but apart from that, John, it was full blown Hulk.
But I just get the sense, Stephen, that Waititi was a big fan, and he utilised the character wonderfully. He showed you that raw power when he was fighting, and that gladiator sequence with also Thor. That was a magnificent scene as well. I just love the Ragnarok as a whole, and this is something I never spotted either. I think it's very cool that also this tiny little dent in the left chest is one sort of a reminder of what had happened obviously previously in the MCU, the Forgotten Child, as you did say. I don't know if you did or I did.
I said the Black Sheep, John.
Yeah, the Black Sheep. I think I said the Forgotten Child, perhaps, maybe not. But look, it's very cool to see that there's still a semblance of connection to that 2000. It was 2008, wasn't it?
I kept saying 2007, you're right. It was 2008. 2007 was Iron Man,
Yeah, 2008 movie. It's in there, and that's great. It's just great to pay, obviously, tribute to Edward Norton's version of the character, because as you did say, Stephen, it's not the worst movie in the world. I actually really enjoyed it. We were watching it fairly recently.
A couple of weeks ago.
And Tim Roth was a really good antagonist as well. Incidentally, he's very underrated. And as you did say, it's not the only thread of connection we do have. Neat though it is to see this, and that's just a visual clue, a confirmation, if you like, that it's the same Hulk, even though it's a different actor portraying it. It's this same guy that's been through all this journey. We've also got, as you did mention, Thunderbolt Ross. I think it's William Hurt who played him. He was in Civil War, I want to say. He's now appearing in Black Widow. And there's talk that he could potentially, I don't know, well, he can't be going on now. He can't be going any further, I wouldn't have imagined, but maybe he will. We're getting a She-Hulk movie. And they are saying, Stephen, at the bottom of this article, as a little aside, that Liv Tyler's Betty Ross, I want to say her name is.
Yeah, it was his daughter, yeah.
Yeah, she could be coming back in She-Hulk.
Yeah, I mean...
Is that something you'd like to see?
Yeah, because, John, when we were watching it a couple of weeks ago, you said what a fine actor she is. And
that sequence.
And also, the kitchen scene when he leaves her through the back door, a great character as well. It's a character that's... I understand why they've not been able to utilise her, because there's obviously issues with a lot of Hulk fans that Hulk character itself wasn't utilised in, to his max anyway. So because of that, you're not getting the sort of side character. I don't want to say side characters. They're obviously a big part of Bruce Banner's life, but there wasn't any reason for her to be, in the story at that point. Certainly, if they are going to be developing a She-Hulk movie, it would be great to see, the actress back playing the character. Yeah,
she was kind of the humanising figure, Stephen, for the Hulk. She could bring him out of his rage. And I feel like they semi-replaced that character with Natasha Romanoff in the early days of the MCU. So perhaps she comes back.
I don't obviously know the ins and outs, John. Is it Universal that hold the rights to the character?
Yeah,
it's one of the studios.
Yeah, someone holds the rights to the Hulk.
They could hold the rights to that character as well, and that's why we've not seen her.
That's what they say, Stephen. That's why we couldn't have a standalone Hulk movie, or like we've seen with the various other ones, a trilogy. So they had to be quite clever in the way they utilised the character's backstory. That's why we got that sequence starting with obviously Ragnarok, pure Hulk. In Infinity War we got pure Banner, and then in Endgame it was the Smart Hulk, a combination of the two. And that was really neat, the way they went through this personal journey in the background whilst all these other things were going on with the Hulk character.
It was Universal, John.
Yeah, Universal. But look, Stephen, all in all, it's a nice little bit of Easter eggy goodness, if you like. It's a nice bit of continuity. And again, it just shows you this attention to detail that we get in the MCU, even though it's much maligned by cinematic greats like, and that's strange, like obviously Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola and a few other people. I think Rachel from Friends, obviously Jennifer Aniston doesn't like it either. I always like to throw in Rachel from Friends. I really enjoy Jennifer Aniston, incidentally. I'm not doing her down. She can like her rom-coms with Meg Ryan, that is her prerogative. But look, I digress, I went off on a tangent, nearly forgot what I was saying. It's nice to see that they do that fan service. They do have that little knack for little details. If you're vigilant enough, you will spot it. And it just rewards the fan base ever more, because you can go back 3-4 years later and spot something new. But look, Stephen, we're continuing on this Thor theme, if you like, this Ragnarok theme, into the third and final topic of today's show, and it's all about one Taika Waititi saying that Thor Love and Thunder will be doubling down on the Ragnarok craziness. He has a quote which I cannot get at the moment. There it is there. He says it's going to be bigger and louder and more bombastic. He's using my words, so he's a man of my own heart. Bombastic, I use that a hell of a lot. He also says, incidentally, it's only interesting to me if we're doubling down on how nuts Ragnarok was. This is music to my ears, Stephen. Ragnarok for me is the best Thor movie out of the lot. The Dark World was shit. The original Thor was okay, but it was very stuffy. The character was very stuffy. They say something in this article Shakespearean. It is. He's very stuffy and Shakespearean. They allowed the monster out of the bag, not the cat, because Chris Hemsworth's far too big to be a cat. They allowed him out to become his own comedic self, and it just made the character all the more enjoyable. It made the proceedings all the more enjoyable. I think he was doing some ad-libbing and whatnot, and we're going to get more of this in this movie. And he's confirmed, previously we spoke about it, it is indeed going to be a Thor movie. It's not going to be whatever the hell that character's name is, whose name completely always
Thor,
it's not going to be Natalie Portman.
No,
it's a Thor movie.
I think a lot of people took that the wrong way, John, but you're right. I think the director has seen, obviously, Chris Hemsworth's abilities as a comedic actor as well, and I think Waititi is a sort of guy that can sort of find the balance, and the seriousness of the storyline without taking it off to the silliness, if you like. And he found that balance in Ragnarok. I'm like you, John. It's my favourite Thor film to date. Hearing these words "double down," I wasn't actually sure what that meant, because it sounded like he was toning it down, but you said no, it's the opposite. It's actually,
he's doubling down and making it all more.
He's ramping it up, So I don't know how they can do that, because I thought Ragnarok was as far as you could go, with the tone. Jeff Goldblum was a standout in that film. Just amazing. He's an amazing actor anyway, but just putting such an actor like him into the MCU and see how it would work. and it did work. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think as well that Waititi works very closely with Hemsworth as well. He gets his humour. I think both of them have got very similar humour as well. So it doesn't surprise me that he wants to continue the tone. Certainly going into this fourth film, it would certainly be a bit of a disappointment if he didn't, to be honest with you, after The Dark World, which I felt was very doom and gloom and very off the pace for a Thor film, for an MCU film, as a matter of fact. But I just felt that the first film was setting it up so you could forgive it for that, and you're right, I think the character was very restricted, very stuffy, and probably playing to sort of the traditions of the character more than anything. Taika Waititi certainly saw the potential to expand the character a bit more. Certainly had to give him a new sort of, breath, and he certainly, he succeeded with that third film, and I can't wait to see it. It was one that, unfortunately, because of the way it was announced, it rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. It was agendas, etc. But anyone that's watched this director's films over the last 5-6 years knows what he's all about. You've got to put your trust in him because he's a fantastic director. He's got such a wicked sense of humour. He's a sensible guy as well, and he certainly, when it comes to studios, I don't think he's I don't think he's a quivering wreck to stand up to studios. I mean, I think if it was
with Jojo.
Yeah, I think, John, I think if studio interference comes into it, and it does come into it to an extent, but I think when it affects the credibility of a director, I don't think Taika Waititi is the sort of guy that would just stand back and take it. His reputation's on the line in that case, certainly, and I didn't have any fears when that announcement was that Natalie Portman was going to come in as the mighty Thor or whatever it was going to be. Yeah. It's just it's a crowd pleaser more than anything, certainly in today's sort of climate. But when you get to the root of the director's sort of way of working, then you've got to put your faith in them.
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. And they have put their faith in him.
Yeah.
He says in the article that he was only willing to do another Thor movie if it was like Ragnarok 2. He wasn't visualising this as a Thor movie. It was Ragnarok 2. And they say very correctly that he's putting a clear divide between the first two Thor movies and his two Thor movies, also including Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of the character for him. He was totally disassociated with that previous character. And that's something we've seen, as you did say, rightly, with Chris Hemsworth. I think he was fed up with the character, Stephen. He was ready to chuck it.
Yeah.
And then when he got rejuvenated with Ragnarok, he thought, look, there's still directions creatively where I can go with this character.
Yeah.
And he decided to obviously go and sign a new contract for more movies portraying the great character, which I love, incidentally. And now we could perhaps see, obviously it's Tom Hiddleston, I had a complete mind blank there, with Loki coming back, and them perhaps having some fun again on the screen, because as we do know, this Loki series, it's going to start off going off all over the place, but then he's finally going to work his way back to the MCU, this current timeline. So we could perhaps see those two getting back together again, and that will be absolutely magnificent. I've not got much more to add, Stephen, really. No. There was one other thing I was wanting to touch upon. It was, I think, the concept of perhaps him toying with Fat Thor for another movie. He hadn't yet made his mind up, Waititi, whether he wanted to have a Fat Thor, like we've seen in Endgame, or he's back to his slim, happier self. Not that there's anything wrong with being fat. I'm not putting any connotations there that fat equals unhappy. But that he's back to his more robust, skinnier self.
Yeah.
Was this something you... What's your personal choice for this? Would you like to see Fat Thor or normal Thor? Again, nothing wrong with being fat and not saying it's normal.
Listen, I don't really care, to be honest, and it's not sitting on the fence, John, in any way. The character, by Endgame is certainly, a different sort of version of what we got in Infinity War. Yeah. Obviously, his confidence had been shattered, but I think by the end of Endgame, his confidence was back anyway. Physically, I'm not bothered either way, how he looks. It was more of the sort of mental breakdown he was having in Endgame. Yeah. And by the end of the film, I think his sort of, his mental state, John, and obviously his perception on his direction where he was going in the future was more of a positive outlook. So I think that's more important than obviously how he looks. I think his mental state at the end of Endgame was the most important thing.
Absolutely, Stephen. I cannot wait to see the movie. That's the final thing I will add. It will be good to see Jane coming back. That is her name. Yes, obviously. I forgot it. Doesn't really matter. She's not a character I care that much about, but it'll be good to see her coming back as well. And whatever vein it is she going to be Mighty Thor? Will she be a puny Thor? Then she will become a Mighty Thor. Lord knows. We will find out in a couple of years, Stephen, and I cannot wait because I do love Taika. But first and foremost, I want to see Jojo Rabbit, and that is going to round up today's MPE Heroes with a tangent, which has no connection whatsoever to anything we've been speaking about. What did you guys make about the 3 topics we spoke about? What do you think of Shang-Chi? It's a working title of Steamboat. What the hell do you make about Thor Ragnarok? What do you make about, obviously, Hulk's little chip out of his chest? Is that something that interests you in any way? If you've got anything to say about it, why don't you comment below in the comment section and let us know what your thoughts are. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Me and Stephen will be back tomorrow with MBE Movie News.